When it comes to awards, what's better than the Nobel Prize? A Webby? The Heisman Trophy? A candle that smells like the world's greatest pilot? I'm sure Sully's odor was springtime fresh when he landed in the Hudson, but that wax is no match for one of the world's most prestigious prizes. Since 1901, Nobels have been passed out in categories including physics, chemistry, literature, medicine, and peace. And Alfred Nobel's gift is given to those who, during the preceding year, shall have conferred the greatest benefit on mankind. And when you look at who's won these things, that criteria makes a lot of sense. Last year's Nobel Prize in Physics went to 3 guys for their experiments with entangled photons, establishing the violation of Bell inequalities, and pioneering quantum information science. And in 2013, the Peace Prize recipient was the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, which works to do just that. So yeah, celebrating quantum physicists and a group working to snuff out mustard gas has a bit more civilizational cachet than, say, that Golden Globe they gave to that guy who pretended he was a very old musician. Though the Nobel Prize has been awarded to people who have carried out unusual research in their quest for knowledge. The 2017 Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences went to Richard Thaler, who won for his studies in economic decision-making. In the book he co-authored called Nudge: Improving Decisions About Health, Wealth, and Happiness, he shares a story from the 1990s about how an Amsterdam airport tried to prevent aimless men from creating spillage in and around the urinals in the little boys' room. The airport men's rooms implemented what's known as the urinal fly, giving guys a subtle target upon which they could fire their lasers. And that prize-winning economist has said this is his favorite illustration of nudge theory, a simple choice that can alter someone's behavior in a predictable way without much of a negative impact. And before we go on, I just want to say that yes, I called this economic science award a Nobel Prize. It's not technically one of Alfred Nobel's original Nobel Prizes. It's the Sveriges Riksbank Prize in Economic Sciences in memory of Alfred Nobel, and it was created in the 1960s to celebrate a bank. But it still gets lumped in with all the other classic Nobel Prizes, so whatever, take it up with the manager. Anyway, receiving a top prize in economics, in part based on a wet, wild, and slippery airport men's room, may sound strange, but it doesn't hold a candle that smells like a pilot, a transplant surgeon, or a move to El Paso to the Ig Nobel Prizes.
The awarding of the 2023 Ig Nobel Prizes. We're giving out 10 prizes. The winners come from many nations. This year's winners have truly earned their prizes.
Yes, the Ig Nobel Prizes. As you can probably tell from this footage, getting an award from some people pretending to float in a green screen rowboat doesn't carry the same kind of pomp and circumstance as, say, Nelson Mandela receiving his 1993 Peace Prize at Oslo City Hall. Since 1991, the Ig Nobels, a play on the word ignoble, meaning dishonorable, unworthy, or shabby, have been awarded to honor unusual and imaginative achievements in science, medicine, and technology. The awards are usually given out at Harvard during a rowdy ceremony full of skits, songs, and scientists not taking themselves too seriously. And over the years, the Ig Nobels have given out prizes to a team who researched beetles that try to mate with beer bottles, this guy who looked into the side effects of sword swallowing, and a doctor who designed a bra that turns into gas masks. Though this year, once again, the ceremony was relegated to the floating confines of the World Wide Web.
Because of the pandemic, instead of doing the ceremony with 1,100 delightful, eccentric people jammed together in a big theater at Harvard University, we are again, here in 2023, doing the entire ceremony online.
Nevertheless, the online-only event was still able to honor those who have carried out all sorts of studies and research in the good name of science.
The winner is from the UK and Poland. The Chemistry and Geology Prize is awarded to Jan Zalasowicz for explaining why many scientists like to lick rocks.
Yeah, you heard that right. Licking rocks. And they're not talking about starting off your morning with a bowl of fruity pebbles. As the chemistry and geology recipient here wrote in the Paleontological Association's newsletter in 2017, licking the rock, of course, is a part of the geologists' and paleontologists' armory of tried and much tested techniques to help survive in the field. Wetting the surface allows fossil and mineral textures to stand out sharply, rather than being lost in the blur of intersecting micro-reflections and micro-refractions that come out of a dry surface. So if you see someone doing this, They're probably doing some very important science work. Not me, of course. This is a block of decorative wood from my shelf. Anyway, how about some engineers now?
The winners are from India, China, Malaysia, and the USA. The Mechanical Engineering Prize is awarded to Tifei Yap, Jen Liu, Anup Rajapan, Trevor Shimakusu, and Daniel Preston for reanimating dead spiders to use as mechanical gripping tools. The prize will be presented to them by Nobel laureate Barry Sharpless.
Yep, so this team wrote in the Advanced Science Journal a piece called Necrobotics, Meiotic Materials as Ready-to-Use Actuators. Drawing on the ingenuity of yesterpeople like cavemen, who were ahead of their time when it came to resourcefulness and car insurance, they state the useful properties of biotic material refined by nature over time eliminate the need to artificially engineer these materials, exemplified by our early ancestors wearing animal hides as clothing and constructing tools from bones. We propose leveraging biotic materials as ready-to-use robotic components in this work due to their ease of procurement and implementation, focusing on using a spider in particular as a useful gripper for robotics applications. Hence, this picture of a dead spider being used as a robotic grip, which could certainly make those restaurant claw machines a much spookier affair. And these aren't even the weirdest prize winners.
The Education Prize is awarded for methodically studying the boredom of teachers and students. The Ig Nobel Nutrition Prize is awarded for experiments to determine how electrified chopsticks and drinking straws can change the taste of food. The Physics Prize is awarded for measuring the extent to which ocean water mixing is affected by the sexual activity of anchovies.
Again, these are all based on real scientific research. And the event itself is put on by the same group that puts out the Annals of Improbable Research, a publication that also highlights offbeat science, like a study on the effects of the pandemic on gelato consumption, using uranium to hunt ducks, and the rhythm contained within the sounds your small intestine makes. As Improbable Research notes, the Ig Nobel Prizes are meant to make people laugh, then think, and spur people's interest in science, medicine, and technology. And winning an Ig Nobel doesn't necessarily mean that you're off the path to greatness. Many of the presenters at the Ig Nobels are Nobel laureates themselves. And then there's Andre Geim. In 2000, he won an Ig Nobel after figuring out how to levitate a frog using magnets. And then, 10 years later, he won an actual Nobel Prize for his research into graphene. In some ways, he's the reverse Ben Affleck. In 1998, he won an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for co-writing Good Will Hunting, only to go on and win a Worst Actor Razzie Award in 2004 for his performance in Geely. It is worth noting, however, that last year, Geely co-star Jennifer Lopez said she wants to make a sequel to her 6% Rotten Tomatoes film. So now that her and Ben Affleck are back together again, let's see if they're on track to win another major prize by getting this dead frog floating again.